Hey guys, my name is Clay Cook and I'm a photographer. So the shoot we did for NFocus Louisville, I did with their creative director and stylist Gunnar Dethridge. We went out and decided to try to do something a little different that day. And I had done it before. I had done it with lights and I had done it with LEDs. I wanted to really push myself on this shoot and do with sparklers and fire and steel wool and whatnot, and just really try to push the boundaries on fashion photography. And I hadn't really seen it done in anything in Louisville like that. I set up a seamless backdrop in the garage and blanket up the windows and make sure that it was completely dark. The thing with light painting is that everything takes a little longer, so you have to be prepared for things to take an extra 10 minutes and things to take an extra 15 minutes just to get that one shot. The first set we had, models actually stand there, and with their permission, of course, we would blow a fan, so the sparklers, the sparks from the sparkler would actually go in the model's face. You really want to ask your models and make sure that, you know, before you try something or you experiment with something, you explain to them what you want to do. You also show them an example image so they might get some influence and it might pump them up a little bit. When I asked the models, they were super down for it. They were really cool with it. It was really tough, you know, I was firing off shots. I was doing 1 to 2 second exposures for every shot, and so there was a couple of good ones that we got lucky, but the key was that the model had to stand pretty still, otherwise we got some of that ghosting. Now, when I got into post and saw that, I liked how it gave sort of an emotional feel to the images, so I ended up keeping them in a lot of the work that you might see in the publication of NFocus or that you might see online in my portfolio. I was really happy with what we got in the garage. It was simply lit with a big octabox in front, a strip box with the grid from the side. I let the sparkler do the rest, and then that 1 second exposure really kind of lit them up. At our second location, on location, we decided to initiate our backup plan and shoot some natural light stuff of these beautiful models in the swamp area. We really hit natural light stuff right on time. So we ended up lighting the 3 models with one big octabox, no grid, and it created a nice beautiful light. And then Gunnar, of course, ran behind the models and created this nice shower of sparks behind them. I was shooting at about a 15-second exposure, so it provided enough time for Gunnar to run out behind them, and we repeated that process, and I think we walked away with about 5 or 6 frames per set. We really had to get it right in camera, and it had to be good. So I heard about steel wool and using steel wool for light painting. I'd never thought about doing it until this particular shoot. So I went to Home Depot and got some necessary items for the steel wool session, and you know, the first thing you want to get is obviously the steel wool. It's got to be grade 0000, so make sure you get that very fine grade. Secondly was an egg whisk, and what I did to this is essentially attach a small little carabiner to a paracord and attach the egg whisk to that carabiner. And what you do is essentially pack this steel wool inside of this, and then when you light it and swing it around in a circle, it emits tons and tons of sparks. To make a perfect circle, it's not easy. We actually tried a couple times with steel wool, but in the end we actually got rained out of the shoot, and I didn't get really enough time to really experiment and do what I wanted to do with the steel wool. Nevertheless, I think that the results were pretty cool. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me, sending me an email at info@claycookphotography.com, or you can hit up my blog, clay-cook.com. Leave a comment on there. I always respond. See you soon.